Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown is calling for that federal investigation after NASA chose New York City, Los Angeles, Florida, and Washington, D.C. over this area as the new homes of the retired space shuttles.
Now, we brought you the announcement live this afternoon. Tonight, we continue live team coverage with Michelle Kingsfield at the National Museum of the United States Air Force. Michelle.
Well, Mark and Marcia, a lot of disappointment here and across the Miami Valley, as you would imagine, and some people certainly not holding back their thoughts, including Senator Sherrod Brown telling us, quote, NASA ignored the intent of Congress and the interest of taxpayers with this decision. He went on to say that this fight is not over and that the selection process itself was flawed. Now, he was not the only unhappy camper here. If you did see 2 News at noon, you heard that Steve Austria blamed politics for the decision that disappointed so many Daytonians. Here's what the Beaver Creek Republican had to say.
We're going to hold, NASA accountable for the decision. We want to know, what their final decision was that they made was to where the shuttles are going to be landed and housed. We met the 10 criteria they brought forward to us. We exceeded some of those criteria by leaps and bounds.
But unfortunately, it did not get us what we wanted. Congressman Austria also going on to say he's very proud of the people who put this entire bid together for the museum and all the hard work that was done, and that he will continue his hard work to promote this area as the birthplace of aviation. Now, as Representative Austria may have been upset, I think it's safe to say that Republican Congressman Mike Turner was fuming. In fact, he suggested President Obama might lose Ohio votes in his bid for re-election over this decision. Megan O'Rourke joins us and continues our live team coverage now with more about today's decision.
It's been a difficult day, to say the least. About an hour before the official announcement was scheduled to be made, word started to spread that Dayton had been overlooked, immediately drawing criticism from the crowd and especially Congressman Mike Turner.
Today, I'm proud to announce where these national treasures will be displayed and enjoyed by millions of Americans once the shuttle program concludes.
Hundreds of people sat and watched the big screens inside the hangar as NASA Administrator Charles Bolden delivered the blow, skipping over Dayton and awarding shuttles to sites on both the east and west coast. The Smithsonian in D.C. will get Discovery, Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, Atlantis. The Endeavour is headed to California's Science Center in L.A., and the Test Shuttle Enterprise will call New York City's intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum home.
The announcement was not what we wanted to hear. However, we respect the decision, and we wish the winners all the best.
Museum Director Lieutenant John Hudson says he hasn't been told where Dayton fell on the final list, but Congressman Mike Turner says not being in the top 4 is wrong.
The administration, though, clearly has made a mistake. The space shuttle should have gone here. LA and New York are going to have one additional person that goes to either of those cities to see the space shuttle.
Turner says it seems the selections were based on the size of the cities, not what the venue had to offer and how many people the shuttle display could impact.
No one in Middle America is going to have a space shuttle. We didn't lose to Chicago. We lost to LA and New York.
Turner says despite the decision, Dayton is and always will be a hub for aerospace and science. It's just too bad NASA Administrator Bolden didn't believe it.
It's New York and LA. If they were going to pick New York and LA, why did they have a competition?
Now, one interesting point we'd like to mention is that unlike many of the other museum sites, the Air Force Museum, if it would have been selected, would have put a shuttle within a 24 hours drive of 61% of the American public, so definitely a disappointing day.
And another reason for people to shake their heads as to why we were not chosen here.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much, Megan. Well, as we know, we are not getting the space shuttle, but we are getting 6 artifacts from the shuttle. Here's a list of those. They include crew compartment trainer number 1, a nose cap assembly, a thruster primary, a model of Skylab, and 2 shuttle tires. Those will go on display in the Space Gallery next to the rockets and the moon mission modules that draw so many visitors every year as well. Now, everyone is trying to put on the best face possible in this devastating and sad news for across many people here. Jim Bucher spoke to a Wright brothers relative as well as some other aviation experts in the area. He continues our team coverage.
Well, you've heard by now we're not getting a shuttle, and for lack of a better term, folks, it's a bummer. But what did some of the folks attending today's ceremony say? Take a listen. What a letdown.
It is. It really is. It's a letdown for the Dayton community. It's a letdown for the nation. This was going to be the most affordable and accessible site to see a shuttle.
Well, it hurts. I'm astounded. I'm stunned. I'm real eager to hear the reasoning that went behind this decision. The disbursement, as I understand it, takes them completely out of the heartland, completely out of Dayton, Ohio, the birthplace of aviation.
Well, we're of course very disappointed that we didn't get the space shuttle. Nonetheless, we still have a world-class museum here in Dayton, Ohio, and we need to work hard in the future to get that word out to the world so they come to see us.
Well, I have to be honest, it's still a shock, still all very, very raw. I felt that of the competition, and there was a lot of competition out there, that we really presented the best argument, being an Air Force museum and a free museum. And so it's a shame that any of those national treasures, those shuttles, are not going to be in a museum that is free and open to the public, absent the Smithsonian.
Like we say at Aviation Trail, you know, no matter where you fly or where you journey into space, it all started right here in Dayton, Ohio, and that's where the shuttle should be.
From the National Museum of the United States Air Force, Jim Bucher, 2 News, on your side.
Okay, Jim, thanks so much. And also, as we mentioned earlier, in anticipation of what was supposed to be great news here, the museum opened up to the public early to do what was supposed to be a celebration, and also watch some videos on the 30th anniversary of the first shuttle flight. Holly Samuels continues our live team coverage with a look at what regular folks thought about.
Well, Michelle, that's right. By opening up the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force today, organizers were hoping for a big celebration. Instead, those who came out to watch the announcement left very disappointed. Hundreds fill the seats inside the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. They're all waiting for an announcement that could change the region drastically, at the same time honoring the men who called this place home and dedicated their lives to the dream of flight. But when Charles Bolden Jr., administrator for NASA, listed the 4 destinations of the retired shuttles, there's a definite air of frustration, disappointment, even anger.
If it weren't for the 2 gentlemen who were born in Dayton, Ohio, who were raised here, who had the bicycle shop here, who ran the first airplane, who built the first airplane, if it hadn't been for those 2 gentlemen, none of this would be taking place. None of it be taking place. So why aren't we recognized for that? I do not understand.
It's a very gifted place, and a lot of people come here, like I said, from all over the world. So I'm very upset. I think that Dayton should have been. This museum has tried very hard.
Michelle, I wanted to point out those 2 ladies were not alone. Actually, when they were given the option, the people who came to watch, to stay and watch the rest of the NASA announcement, most people got up and just headed home. They didn't want to hear anymore.
Oh, too disappointed.
Right.
Okay, thanks so much, Holly. Well, we did not get the shuttle. How many times can we say it? But there still is lots more to come here. At 5:30, I'll be back to see how the today's announcement affected the school that is named after a shuttle mission. Mark?
All right, Michelle, thank you much. And many of you out there also expressing your frustration at the announcement on our Facebook page as well. Anissa Innig writes, this would have been such a much-needed boost to tourism in Ohio. I'm very saddened by this. And for Mike Hamilton, the birthplace of aviation deserves to house this monument to space exploration. To deny people the chance to view and enjoy this without having to pay is not right, no matter how you look at it. And Sarah Gant-Daughtry agrees we should have gotten it. Being a free museum, it offered a huge opportunity for a lot of people to learn about and see it. And you can chime in by visiting our WDTN Facebook page. You can find the link at WDTN.com or by searching for WDTN on Facebook.